Hey, I'm John Weber. I'm here with Kristen Butcher and Ryan Kleek at the 2018 Bible of Bike Tests in Marquette, Michigan. We're here at Black Rocks Brewing's canning facility, and we are talking tonight about Diamondback's Release 4C. This is the first carbon bike that Diamondback's done ever, in a while.
Yeah,
if
definitely
ever,
in a while.
maybe. First carbon mountain bike, I think.
Yeah, probably full suspension carbon.
Yeah, so this came out in aluminum a year or two ago.
And that was always the main complaint about this bike, is that it was very heavy for what it is. And so now with the carbon fiber frame, they've brought the weight down to about 31.5, which isn't insanely light, but it does make a big difference.
Especially given the price and the spec you get for this bike. At the price point, it's at $3,000, and you know, at 31 pounds, you know, that's, you know, respectable. You know,
very.
Yeah, and you know, across the board, you know, you've got Fox suspension, you've got the Shimano SLX drivetrain, and the Dior brakes. I mean, you get a lot of value in this bike.
How'd you guys think it rode? How'd it go uphill?
Felt like it did pretty well. It struggled a little bit over some of the bigger features.
Yeah, I thought it pedaled really efficient. Like in terms of outright pedaling efficiency on smooth ground, I thought it was really pretty good. It's a very like VPP-esque feeling system, I thought. So it's got that efficiency. When you're sort of cresting over rocks and roots, I feel like it was sort of struggling to make the jump over.
And Diamondback's bikes in the past that are of this category, you know, they've been single pivot designs based on their other previous suspension, and now they've adopted the dual link. That's very similar to kind of past generations almost of the Nomad or other VPP style, dual link style bikes. And that's probably where some of that kind of very subtle pedal feedback you feel sometimes on some of those hits, but overall, those bikes do pedal quite well, and because of the tension in the links and really efficiently propelling you forward.
Yeah, and it's only a 130 mil travel bike. It's 27.5 wheels, 150 fork.
150 in the front.
So it accelerates pretty quickly. How'd you guys think it descended?
Well, you know, for a large frame, this one felt, probably because of the 40 millimeter stem instead of the 50, but it felt a little more compact, and it was extremely playful. I felt this bike came to life the most on the jumpy, bermy trails. It did fine on the high-speed rough stuff. However, when I compare it to bikes that we've ridden earlier, like the Norco Sight, and which really just did everything great, you know, if I didn't have that in the back of my mind to compare it to, I think I would have been more impressed with this. But I feel like at repetitive, successive hard hits, it kind of was a little undergunned on the rear suspension as far as the shock spec, perhaps.
And this brings up a good point about this. Whenever we go to compare this bike, we keep comparing it to the Norco, to the Cannondale Trigger, and these are bikes that are much more expensive.
Like almost twice as much.
Wait, almost twice as much. And again, we all work in the bike industry. We know what our paycheck looks like. It's really hard to wrap our heads around some of these more expensive bikes. So I really appreciate the $3,000 price point, and then some of the issues that we do have with the bike about having the suspension, having an option with a reservoir. You can get those with the 5C, which comes in at $4,400, I believe, which again is still in this world of expensive bikes.
Yeah.
It's a really solid price for the build.
Both of those bikes are also a little bit longer travel, right? The Cannondale is 145, the Sight's 140, this is 130. So I did feel like it had really nice sort of that playful feel. You could get it off the ground. There's a lot of support to push into. It's a really fun ride, but yeah, it doesn't quite have that straight line.
And I think that if you look at it from 10 feet away, the spec and the angles, the tire spec, the bar, the short stem, it kind of makes you feel like you've got this all-mountain trail smashing machine. But once you're on it, you're like, oh, it is 130 travel rear end. So perhaps it gives you the mindset of, I'm going to just charge. And then once you do, you're like, well, it is a little, doesn't have as much travel as those other bikes you mentioned. So that might be where we're slightly expecting something different in comparison.
So it's a great spec for the money. It's really fun and playful. It's pretty capable for the amount of travel it has. The one thing actually that bummed me out about this bike was that there's nowhere to put a bottle cage inside the front triangle. There are mounts under the down tube, but in a lot of places
No one wants
yeah.
to drink a bottle that's been
Yeah.
ridden.
You don't want to do it. And I don't know about on the smaller sizes, but we put a bottle inside the front triangle on this, and there's plenty of room. So that bummed me out.
I mean, there's a couple spec things that I really liked about this bike as well. The ergon grips are, this particular model on this bike I thought were extremely comfortable, and as well as the the KS dropper lever. They've changed that, and it's extremely more ergonomic with the like the thumb actuated kind of shifter style lever. That worked great.
Yep, yeah, the South Power Remote got a little bit of an update. It's easier to position it as well. You don't have to crank down as hard on it to get it to actually stay in place.
And I did have an issue where I dented the rear rim that I was riding. But again, this is one of those issues where my tire went flat. I rode on some pretty rocky stuff as that was happening. So that sometimes that just happens. But I do wonder, the wheels do seem to be a place where they did save some of the money. So they are alloy wheels. They are going to be a little bit heavier.
And you know, kind of on that subject, it comes with a really nice tire combo. It's a Minion DHF in the front and a DHR in the back, so that aggressive rider who gets on this bike isn't going to have to replace the tires right away.
And we're nitpicking little things like the suspension, like the wheels, but one of the features that Diamondback offers is the ability to go onto their website and customize the bike fully. So you can put a coil shock on, you can put different wheels on, and that I think is something that a lot of consumers will enjoy. And then of course you can go and get the bikes at a dealer, like we're used to.
Yeah, totally. For the rider who wants a great value and a really fun, playful bike, the Diamondback Release 4C is a great option. Be sure to subscribe to Bike Magazine on YouTube so you don't miss any of our other Bible videos.